Well, again, it's great to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting into your life as an entrepreneur and as a leader. And to begin that process, I want to know one of the biggest events that we all lived through was this pandemic. How did you make it through the pandemic and how did it change the way that you do things?
It's so the pandemic was great in terms of where I was at in my life. So I had just recently reunited with my children, and there was a gap of 8 years before that. So they just came over, and it was at that point of time that the pandemic started. So I made the most of it in terms of really getting to know them, bridging the gap, really being there as a mother. So that was on the personal side. On the professional side, I got myself as a first responder. So I went through all the qualifications and certifications to become the first responder for women, and I volunteered as again a woman first responder for an organization by the name of My Women Support to really be there in terms of understanding what these women were going through and being there. So, in terms of my personal and professional space, I learned a lot. It was, again, challenging times in very many ways, but it was great in terms of teaching us so much. So, it taught us in terms of the value of of human touch, the value of in-person meetings, the value of interactions, not just for myself but also for my children. So other than my four adult children, I have got our youngest daughter. She's now 7. At that point of time, she was going through that phase, and why it was such challenging in terms of really for these children and also for youth. My son was going through like he was 18 at that point of time, so he needed that social interaction, that making of friends, that going and interacting with them, which was not available for him for another couple of years. So it was a challenging time from that perspective. But we learned a lot. We learned a lot, not just as a family, but professionally and also as humanity. I think we learned a lot.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, third graders. It's career day. And one of the curious kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
So, so in terms of the volunteer well, it is basically a platform where we connect people with each other, build on the science of generosity, build on the concept of giving and receiving. So the whole idea, what we are doing is addressing the three challenges that we are facing. In terms of the three challenges that we are facing as humanity is, the first is that people are interacting with each other only at a superficial level. Once you are able to really ask for help and give help to each other, you're able to then interact deeply at a much deeper connection. That is the science of generosity. The second issue is that whenever we interact with each other, we box people in different discriminatory boxes. We focus on background. We focus on things that differentiates us rather than things that unite us. And that is what we are doing on a daily basis. We shatter all these discriminatory boxes in order to unite humanity as one family. And the third is there's an over reliance on the nonprofit and charitable sector. So whenever somebody talks about volunteering, they volunteer to a local charity. Similarly, anybody seeking help and support also look up to these nonprofit sector. What happens is not only the volunteers and the users remain disconnected from each other, it's an over reliance on the nonprofit sector. So what we're doing is we are starting these ripple of kindness whereby people are seeking help from each other and offering help to each other to those who are living around them.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
Oh, I wanted to become an architect.
Okay.
I love. I was an artist. I was a painter, and I love maths. So I wanted to become an architect, but I ended up enrolling in an institute for business administration. Got my BBA, MBA, got my master. So my path turned out to be different than what I wanted to be in third grade. But here I am.
So let's get to the heart and soul of how you got to where you're at today. Take me back to where you were born and raised, and what were the fundamental seeds that were planted into you that gave you this drive and this vision to be who you are?
Yes, Joe. So it's again it's built on the charity is built on my own personal experience, my why, and that is that born and raised as a Muslim in Pakistan, entered into a 13-year-long abusive marriage. When I started to approach the court for divorce, the law has recently changed. But what I realized later on that the law has changed, but the practice had not. I entered into a 3-year-long legal battle in the court, character assassination, end to end, family, friends pressure, bribing of lawyers by him, ended up changing my lawyers thrice, studying the law myself. At the end of the 3-year period, when I finally got the divorce, I gave up on the system. I gave up on everything. Really, really strongly connected to my 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. My eldest was 8 years old at the time. And I was really up there in my professional career. I was senior vice president at the second largest bank in my country, one of the only 4 women in a room full of 30 men. Um, when I gave up on the system, I went to Dubai in search of a job. Couldn't find anything that can take care of myself and my family. Came back as soon as I came back. He applied for the custody of the children through the courts. Didn't have the strength or the courage to go through another court case battle. I went to the court and I handed over the custody of the children with my own hands, and I left the country as a rebel. And I was rebel in all its form, rebel against the country's norm, system, my friends, family, my norms, traditions, my religion. In fact, I blamed everything on the religion. But later on, when I started studying the Holy Book, I realized that what everyone else is following is just hearsay. This is not what the divine wants. Divine wants just 2 things. First is that whatever we are given, be it in terms of our wealth or money or time or resources, even our bodies are not given to us as our owners, but as trustees and caretakers. These are to be spent for the benefit of others. And the second is that we are not to exclude or judge others, but to unite everyone based on our shared value. With respect to my children, I kept on fighting for the custody of the children, got them reunited with me after 8 years. My eldest is now 27-year old. My younger one is 25. My son is 22. I have got a bonus daughter from my current husband, a lovely girl of 24-year-old. And we have got our baby child, 7-year-old. So from all of those breakthrough years, I found my life passion of really uniting communities deeply so that no one feels isolated. No mother has to go through what I went through. So that is the basic idea of the charity that we're doing.
So, who's been a hero for you? You've obviously needed a lot of motivation and inspiration in the work that you're doing. Who has that been for you?
Ah, so I have had inspiration from my father for a very long time. I grew up in terms of having him as my hero. So even right now, in spite of the fact that whatever has happened, forgiven them in terms of their role in my history, but he's still there as my hero. But if during that breakdown years where I was alone and I was not supported, I looked up to myself. So if I were to look at one person who was there as my best friend during those years, was myself. was
Yeah.
was myself. Yeah. In terms of because what I used to do, I used to go to the washroom, and even this is something that I even do now, and talk to myself and telling myself, "You got this, Shabnam. Yes, you got this." And and this is what I do. Even for each and every small achievement, I pat myself on the back first before I call up my father and say, "Hey, I need to celebrate something."
So, what is the motivation for you? You give a lot of yourself, you're helping a lot of people, but you also have to evolve as a human being yourself. What is that collective gas every day that makes you motivated and evolving as a person?
Yes, and this is a beautiful question, and this is something that is when you're working towards a passion, a desire. So my passion and my desire is to connect humanity to the source. So there's a source in you, there's a source in us. We all came from the same source. We're all going back to the same source. The whole idea is to shatter all the discriminatory boxes and connect humanity together so that we are able to reach our true potential. In terms of our true potential, we have not even crossed Mars for that matter, right? So there's a huge potential in us, and we all can live in the world of abundance and limitless possibilities as against to the world where we are living right now, judgments and exclusions and scarcity and competitions. So the drive that really drive me every day is to look at what is really possible, and to see that this is what is possible, and to make sure that whoever I interact is able to live in that world of abundance and limitless possibilities, because whatever you think, whatever you do impacts humanity. Whatever I think, whatever I do impacts everyone. And it's not just humanity, it's nature, it's animals, it's plants, it's everything, right? It's the same source, right?
Yeah, for sure. What's been one of your favorite client success stories? One that maybe made you grow the most, one of the more satisfying ones that you've had?
In terms of uh, again, there are quite a few stories, but one that really has been, so we run different empowerment programs for all of these seven segments. The seven segments that we have identified as the marginalized segments. And these segments are seniors, children and youth, women, new immigrants, people with disabilities, low income families, and anyone facing discrimination or racism of any sort, be it LGBTQ plus communities, non binary individual. Black, Indigenous, people of color, families. So we run empowerment programs for these. So one of the programs that we were running were for seniors, and one individual who, in fact, there are many impactful stories from there, but I would like to highlight one because you've asked for one. And that when he came for the first session, and we carry out these ice breaking sessions, and during that ice breaking session, the idea was for them to really socialize and open up to each other. When he started speaking, he started crying because he had lost his wife just recently, and he was feeling alone and lonely and completely lost. But I have seen transformation of him over the next few weeks. It took us then 2 to 3 weeks in order to really move him from where he was to a state where he was coming to these sessions and showing everyone that I got these sneakers and for the exercise portion, and then him cracking jokes. And this is just one impactful story that really made my day. There were many others.
So, of everything that you've done and accomplished in your life, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
I'm proud of who I have become through all this. So it was a breakdown, breakthrough years in terms of me becoming rebellious and me finding the right path in terms of my research, in terms of my study, in terms of my constant learning and development. So I am proud of all that has happened, which has led me to be who I am right now. And I think that is the greatest achievement, because even if I'm able to impact just one life, imagine the ripple of kindness that it's going to impact everyone else. The
So,
impact is impactful. It's profound.
absolutely. So, speaking of who you are, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'm the very leader who is connecting everyone to the joint cause of connecting humanity to our shared values. That is who I am right now.
So, if anyone wants to get involved, reach out, learn more about what you're doing, any of the good business, where can they go?
I'm sorry. If anyone wants to get involved with
It,
whatever we are doing,
yeah, or if they want to reach out to you or learn more, where can they go? Where's the best place to go?
Yes, so our website has our link. You can contact us through our website, and our website is volunteer-well.org. You can connect with us through contact us through that channel. There are different aspects on which you can join the cause. You can join the cause by coming up as a partner, as a collaborator. And as a collaborator and as a partner, there are options for both corporations as well as individuals. And what we are looking for individuals is ambassadors. So we run ambassadors programs in order to make individuals realize what true potential that they have, and then making sure that they become ambassadors to the volunteer well cause. That is one thing that they do. So they can connect to our different programs. They can register for these programs. They can connect with us through our website. And all the links are there. So volunteer-well.org.
Excellent. What an inspirational story. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for your time today. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. I'm honored to be here.
It's been great. Thank you. Take care.